Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. It's Jillian back at it again with more Unity today. I'm very excited. If you have not tuned in to previous streams, my name is Jillian Qualley. I am the learning content producer at Endless Studios, and my whole job is to make content like this, whether it be streams or videos or scripts or anything like that that helps you guys learn how to make games and do what I love to do, which is stuff like writing, working in engines, that kind of thing. We are here today to polish up our little racer game, and I'm super excited about that because this is where you get to be as creative as you want to be. You can, like I've said in previous streams, make your little racer game look however you want it to, and I'm just going to show how to apply a few more visual effects today to really polish it up and make it look legit, like make it look however you want it to. We're going to be doing some stuff with painting terrain and trees and everything. We're going to be testing out some skyboxes just to show you how to do it if you have the desire to get a skybox going. And we're just going to be, like I said, polishing up the game a little bit, making sure it's running well. And yeah, so that's really what we're going to be doing today. So if you guys are ready to jump into it, I think I am as well. So I'm ready to get into Unity. And I did a little bit of work off camera on this just to, again, make sure that I kind of knew how to do everything that I wanted to do here. We may be able to put some like obstacles in the road. We'll be moving items, and like I said, we'll be painting some trees, messing with the terrain a little bit more and exploring those tools. And I'll just demonstrate how to do a skybox. I'm not going to do one in this map, as I said in the last stream, because I just think this one's pretty. That's really just what it comes down to. And also, it can look a little strange, and I still haven't been able to import any assets into my game. I think I know how to fix it, but for now, we're just going to work with the assets that come with the game by default. And if you guys want to explore the asset store in a browser separately and look at assets that you can get through there, then you can feel free to do that. So I will try my best to demonstrate how to, again, make your game look like you want it to, polish it up, and make sure that it's running smoothly. So we are in Unity. We are here with the lovely Kart Racer. The terrain is looking very strange because of how much I messed with it last time, but I kind of like it. I'm not really gonna mess with it too much, but I will be adding a little bit and, like I said, painting some trees and stuff. So that's pretty much the basics of it. First thing I want to show off that actually would have helped a lot on the last stream if I saw this little bar here. This is where you can completely search your assets folder for any assets you may want. So this will help us find those tree models that I was looking for last time. If I come over here, I don't think, yeah, see, I got some trees going here. Got a little forest happening. I did this off camera just to test the tool and make sure that it was working smoothly. As you can see, the more I zoom out, the trees don't actually appear. That is just the rendering distance settings in my Unity game. So unfortunately, we won't really be able to see trees when we're driving on the track. They just won't render to obviously ensure that the game runs smoothly after it's built. But for our purposes, they're there. So let's first show off how to paint some trees around here. I have quite a few little clusters of them here, but you have to zoom in a little bit to get them to appear. So in order to paint trees, all you have to do is go to the terrain options, and you click on the middle button, I think here. Yeah, paint trees. Now, in order to select a tree, what I did pretty much is I just clicked on edit trees, add tree, and then I went to the assets bar and just searched for tree. Now there are some palm trees and there's the Joshua trees here. They have some textures as well, but I don't know exactly what they contain or if you should mess with them. Right here though, you have some default tree assets. So all you really have to do is click and drag it into this thing that says non-game object. This is the tree prefab it looks for. And then it'll give you a few more settings to mess with. So I'm not going to place any palm trees because this isn't really a tropical kind of thing. Again, theme is very important to stick to when you're modding your game. You don't want like a random amalgamation of various items and scenery things and all that stuff that doesn't really make sense together. If you want to mod the game, I would suggest you pick a theme and kind of go along with it if you can, kind of mesh everything together to look a little bit more cohesive. So yeah, but anyway, so yeah, you just click and drag the tree into this little window here and it should populate. It should give you a few settings to mess with if you want, like tree size, height, all that kind of stuff. And then you just exit out and all you have to do is click on the paint trees button. Let's change our brush down a little bit. And yeah, you can change the density as well. I'm going to lower the density a little bit so there aren't as many trees. And then you just click, and as you can see, there aren't any here. But if I scroll over, you can see a few more trees are appearing. Oh, that's zooming out way too far. That's okay. Let's just try to place some here and see if we can get them going. So I'm just gonna hold down the button and make sure that the camera is working. They're not placing in this area for some reason. We have the Joshua tree. Oh, there we go. I think we had to actually select it. There we go. Now they're being placed. So the density, as you can see, is a little bit lighter. I lowered that brush, and I also lowered the brush for just placing them in terms of size as well. And yeah, they should all be here. Now you can put other trees in this little window here. So if we wanted to place some palm trees, you could also do add tree. You can also edit the trees that you have selected or remove them. This is basically just your backlog of tree textures or prefabs that you can place. So whenever you want to place a specific tree, you do have to select it in this window, and then you can freely paint them on. Like so. I think this adds an enormous amount of detail to your game, though I will say if you place too many trees, your game might lag in the final build. So just make sure that just make sure that you're not placing too many. Like make sure your brush size is small, make sure your density is small. And as you can see, there's a setting here for tree height random, lock width to height, so you make sure that it all looks cohesive and everything. And yeah, most of these other like errors here don't really matter. You should be able to still place them anyway. So yeah, that's painting trees on the terrain. Now, just a quick review of to how to create terrain in general. All you really have to do, if I can scroll over to where I have my terrain, is do the second button here called Paint Terrain, raise and lower. And you really just do exactly as it says. You just paint the terrain a little bit by clicking or holding or however intense a terrain you want. You can choose the brushes that you want, brush size, opacity, like it all says. Makes perfect sense that this controls just your brush with the terrain, and you can choose various shapes. So I'm going to choose this like smaller shape here to make some humps and hills here. And I'm just going to outline like my whole track with this. I'm not really going to be going too hard at it because, like I said, the default terrain tools can really lag your game, which might be a good reason to bring terrain or the environment into a program like Blender to really smooth it out and make sure that it won't lag your game like crazy. I will be doing a final build of the game, hopefully in the next stream, just to show off how the final build runs, and if we need to do any polishing after that, then you guys are free to do that. Everyone's game will be a little bit different though, of course, so just keep that in mind. My game may run like crap, but yours might run fine. It all really depends on how in-depth you get with the tools, honestly. So I'm just gonna build a bunch of hills around the track here. It looks like that may be intercepting the track, actually. Yeah, it is. Let's undo that with Control Z. Probably should have mentioned that a while ago, but Control Z is your best friend with Unity. If you mess something up beyond repair, then obviously you can exit without saving. That always saves the day, of course, but Control Z, the undo button, and sometimes the redo button, also very beneficial to know that control in case you, again, break something beyond repair. It happens, you know. We're not professionals at this. I mean, some of us are. Once you get used to these tools, you will be, you know, making professional level quality with this, which I think is the great thing about Unity. It's really easy to get into and use. It's hard to master. Definitely takes a little bit of work to find out what makes it tick, but it is very possible to get super good with it and make some amazing things with it. I mean, we've all seen some of the amazing games made on Unity just in programs like Steam. Some of that is super impressive. So shout out to Unity, I guess. So I'm just, again, outlining my track with this like uneven terrain tool. I'm gonna do this brush, I think, and just make like a large hill here. And like I said, I'm trying to make sure that it's not intercepting with the track because that can cause issues with AI pathing and with your own pathing. You might not be able to get over a random like hill that you placed, which we obviously don't want to happen. So I am just gonna do a little bit more of this. This is what the polish phase of any game development's life cycle is all about. Just doing the same things that you've learned to do at this point, just to a greater extent. That's kind of clipping a little bit. Let's get rid of that. This is looking actually really cool. I'm sort of liking this hill valley kind of situation that we've got going on here. I'm just gonna increase that a little bit. Oops. Let's go back to paint terrain. Just keep in mind if you accidentally press the wrong button when you're painting the terrain, it will exit terrain editing mode, so you may have to go back in. Remember, the way I'm controlling the camera is I'm holding down my right click and using WASD to slowly move around the map. That's I think the best way to control the camera. You can also control it up here if you want, but that is completely up to you. So we have a vague valley shape sort of thing going on around here. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Like I said, this point of the process may look very different for you guys depending on what you are doing with your racer. You don't even have to use the terrain tools if you really don't want to. It is completely optional. You can do just about anything you want with these tools. Let's keep the opacity. Let's just do a little bit more hills like here. I'm just doing this theme because I think it's a good theme to show off, like, again, how you get all these how you use, I should say, all these tools that I'm using. I think it works pretty well at showing off like terrain tools and tree painting tools and that kind of thing. I'm quite happy with how this is looking, though it is a bit extreme in this area. I do like it aesthetically, and I'm just trying to make sure the game will run as smoothly as possible when I build it. I am running this on a laptop, just so you guys know. It's a very good laptop, but I don't really know how it's going to run in the final build, so I'm trying to be very conservative about this right now with the terrain. And I'm just going to make a few more little humps here just to, again, show off the rest of the tools. We might place some more trees around this area, and we will just see how it's looking. So yeah, even in the scene view, I'm lagging a tiny bit with all these trees. So we can delete them as well. Or we can make holes in the terrain if we need. Let me just check here. Edit trees, refresh. You can, I don't really know what the mass place trees button does. I think it may cover your whole terrain in trees, which I don't recommend. I think that would probably lag the game out beyond comprehension. So let's just, again, conservatively place our trees around, make sure that it's looking, like at least somewhat realistic. You can't see those trees because I'm not zoomed in enough. Let's just place some around the middle here. So even if you can't see the trees when I'm clicking, they are still being placed. You just have to get close enough to place them. Like I said, that's just a part of my rendering distance settings, which I don't want to do mess with too much. I do still want the game to function when I'm in game mode. And the unfortunate part of that though is that if we go to play the game, let's play. If we go to play the game, I don't know how many trees you'll actually be able to see on the track because of where the terrain is. This is going to take a little bit to load all this, just so you guys know. Oh, here we go. That didn't take long at all. So our trees are generally in this area, and because of how the track looks, I don't really know if we'll be able to see them that much, which might be for the best. Oh, there are some. That actually looks kind of cool over there. I like that. We see that the terrain is interfering a little bit over here. We'll have to fix that, but that shouldn't affect the AI too much. They should be able to work through that. Okay, that's close enough. So let's quickly go and fix that little bump there just to make sure we don't have any weirdness happening there. Like I said, this is all the polishing phase is really about, is making sure that your track is looking how you want it to, making sure that your terrain is looking how you want it to. Let's lower this just slightly. There we go. That's much better. Oh, and I just remembered, seeing these little items here, we have to move these guys onto our new track because they are positioned where they originally were before we added the track. So it's pretty easy to do that. Let's get out of the terrain tool if we can. You just have to click on one of these items and it will show the group that it's in the hierarchy here. So this is group 3. This present is part of group 3. All you have to do to move the items is to select the whole group. And if we can get the moving tools going, let's do that, yeah. You just have to move them to where you want them on your track. Oops, I don't know why I'm zooming in so significantly there. Let's just use WASD. So let's move them like here. Now, one little challenge I'll present to you guys if you're interested is changing the icon for the items, the power-ups. So here you have like the power-up box item. If we click on one of the boxes in this little group here, you have the power-up box, and I'm pretty sure you can change it if you want. There's an animator for it, and it has like materials to it. If you want to change the color of the materials, you can do that. If you want to change the entire model, you can do that. I'm not going to be going into that right now. We could do it in the next stream, but I don't know if I want to mess with it right now. But that's a little challenge to you guys if you're interested in changing the appearance of the power-ups. I have seen people do that to fit their themes better. So that's just completely up to you guys though. So here is group 2. Let's move these guys up and onto the track. These are all prefabs that you can completely change if you want, but like I said, I'm fine with them just being the little presence here. Completely fine with me. I just want to make sure they are actually on the track. So I'm double clicking to go to the groups here to make sure that we can move them back to where we can actually collect them, because that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Part of this game is collecting the power-ups, no? So let's just do that. These are a little bit too high. I don't know if we'll be able to collect them. Let's move them down. I don't know where it's selecting group 6 here. Oh, there they are. Sometimes you have to manipulate the camera a little bit to make sure that to make sure that you can see the power-ups, let's actually rotate these a little bit this way to make them a little bit more evenly close to the ground, or the track, I should say. Let's move them a little bit down. There we go. Group 7 is over here. Let's get to where I can actually see them. These are already in place, that's good. And group 8 is all the way over here. These seem to also be in relatively the same place. These guys could be moved over a little bit. Again, we are simply polishing, making sure everything is looking how we want it to, everything will be functional and work how we want it to. And this is a good phase to really start playtesting in. I've talked about why playtesting is important a billion times, but I will reiterate, playtesting is super important. It's really important to make sure that everything on your track is working as intended. I'm not going to be placing obstacles in the track, though I'll show how to do that and then put a collider on them. But the reason I'm not doing that is because upon playtesting with objects in the way of the track, the AI really freaks out. They just like get completely stuck. They don't know how to navigate it. It's just not like advanced enough to know exactly what to do when they encounter, let's say, a traffic cone in the road. So it's up to you guys if you want to use some of these assets that we have. Let's get rid of this tree. We have so many assets in this third party folder here for things that you may want to do. So like there's spacey stuff, there's food stuff, there's models, there's all this cool stuff that you can access in this third party folder here. And if you want to place some of that in the road, like there's a dinner table here. Materials, textures, and it doesn't look like they have a prefab in here. That's okay. You can access prefabs in here. You can get the power-ups prefab here. You can really mess with the stuff as much as you want, as long as you kind of understand how far is too far. And where was I going with that whole tangent? I don't remember, but that's okay. Oh, obstacles, yeah. So you could place a lot of objects as obstacles in the road and then place a box collider on them. I will try to quickly show off how you do that. Though I really don't want to mess with anything. Let's just see if we can get. We have a Corvette here. This is just a texture though. Well, let's just use maybe, I know there's a boulder over here that I placed here to make it look more like a valley of rocks and stuff. Let's just move it over to the track if we can. Where the heck is it? There it is. Let's zoom out, move it to the track. I'm just gonna use this box here to move it freely, even though, like I've said a billion times, you shouldn't really use that tool simply because it's not in any way precise. Let's just place a random rock in the middle of the road because that's somewhat realistic, right? I mean, it happens. So if we go over here to the inspector, we'll see that it has a mesh renderer. It's got an animator if you guys want to animate anything. In order to make it an obstacle, you have to go down to add component. And we will do, if I can remember where it is, I think it's physics. Yeah, physics and box collider. You can do a few different physics things here. You can do spear collider. Let's actually do spear collider because that actually kind of matches the shape of the object that we're placing. So yeah, it just has a default physics material, and that's kind of how it determines that it's an object in the road or object with a collider. You can edit bounding volume, and this pretty much just makes it so that you can control how big the collider is. So it makes a lot of sense to make sure that your collider that you place meshes well with the actual mesh of the object, and that it's not just like a massive collider just completely in the way. You can change this a little bit. If we click on this and a bounding volume, it should let us change that a little bit. Yeah, see, so if I'm click and drag up, you can make the collider be much bigger than the object itself, which I don't really want to do. So I'm just going to keep it as is. And let's see if we can bump into it. I don't know where exactly on the track it is, so we may have to drive for a bit. But the AI might get stuck on it, which would be very hilarious, but not really what we're looking for. It's somewhere in the middle of the road here. I'm gonna try to look for it, just make sure that it works. There it is. So if we just, yeah, see, so they bumped into it. This has physics now. Um, and they were thankfully able to recover from bumping into it. So we could place a bunch of these guys actually, and it'd be completely fine, hopefully. I think the collider is small enough to where it doesn't interfere with their entire collider, because if it did, then they would not be able to ever escape from this horrible fate of being stuck behind a rock. So we may place a few of these. I may do that off camera just because it's fairly easy, but it would be quite time consuming. So we are just gonna have this rock be in the road for now, and I might place more later so we can have a bit more of an obstacle course feel, though I, again, will warn you, AI doesn't really respond well to things with big colliders. If you want to make your own objects in Blender, for example, and then apply a collider to them in Unity, make sure that the object is scaled properly and that your collider will not completely interfere with the colliders of the racers, because if it does, things will break. So we don't really just want to completely win the game by all the AI getting stuck on obstacles. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. So we're just going to leave that friend there. And let me see, what else is there to explore? Oh yeah, let me just quickly show off how to do a skybox, because it's not super easy, but it's possible. And because I didn't get a pretty skybox through the Unity store, I'm not going to be fully applying it. Um, we're just going to use a random texture in the game here to apply it, just so you guys can see how to do it. So the main way that you access your skybox in Unity is through the camera. The camera is kind of what determines where you place your skybox, what material it calls for. Let's go over here. Now, as you can see, we have a few different camera objects here. We have the race camera, and if we go in here, this is pretty much the entire race. And I think this is what you use to place a skybox everywhere, but since I only want to just demonstrate how to do it, I think we're not going to do minimap camera. I think it's in Race Manager. No, I can actually just click the camera right here. So this camera right behind our player, if I can click on just the camera, there we go. This is the rear view camera. This is actually attached directly to the player, and this is how you look back at behind you. I don't remember the controls right now because I never use that feature in any racing game, but you essentially just need a camera object, and all you really do is go down here to add component, go to rendering, and here we have a skybox option. So this will only change the skybox in the rear view camera. If you want to change the skybox in the whole game, you would use the race camera object, which we're not going to use because we want to keep the skybox. I just want to show this off. So we click on skybox, and then it's really as easy as clicking on browsing for materials, and you have all the materials in your assets here. You can do pretty much whatever. So this is the cloudy, this is the cloudy sky that we currently have. It's just a texture there. You want to use the flat textures more so than the materials, but it gives you the option to use materials. So that's completely up to you. I'm just gonna find something that looks vaguely acceptable as kind of like a filter to put over the skybox. So this is a texture. This is the space texture. So if we click on that, as you can see in the rear view camera only, you will have this skybox installed. And so if we wanted to change it everywhere, we go to race camera and do the same thing, add component, rendering, skybox, and then you just choose your material or flat texture to apply to the sky, and that should completely take care of it. So I'm gonna undo that because I don't want the rear view camera to look different than this camera. I will warn you, things may look a little weird at first when you apply a skybox to the whole game. In the next stream, I will try to cover how to make sure that it doesn't look weird and that it's not trying to render multiple skyboxes at once, because that is definitely a thing. If we go here under race camera, it doesn't give us any other option to do anything really, but you can just add a skybox through there. And it may interfere with the skybox currently in the game. I don't know. It's a little finicky, which is why I didn't cover it last time. I just wanted to make sure that I had the basics of it before showing that off. But we will try to clean that up maybe in the next stream when I will only be taking questions, really. That's kind of my plan for next stream, is to just do a final call for questions, replay the game again and make sure that it's functioning well, build it, and then we can all share our kart racers if you guys have been participating with this, which I hope you are, because this is a super fun project. I just love coming in here and messing with this game. I mean, that is how it was designed. It was designed to be messed with. So anyway, so that's skyboxes, that's trees, terrain and everything. Let me just make sure there isn't anything else I want to cover in the stream. I also do want to take questions now if anyone has anything in particular they want to talk about, or ask me about in terms of this little racer that we have going. It's still pretty empty. It's not really looking like a lot here. So maybe off camera I will explore some of the like third-party options and prefabs and everything that they have for us, and I might try to populate this world just a little bit more to get it looking more like a level, because like I said, right now it's really just the track, terrain, and trees, which, you know, beautiful, wonderful, but we definitely want it to look a little bit more like a real thing, because that's just kind of the theme I'm going for. I'm going for some sort of realistic hilly valley backroads kind of theme. I just think that sounds nice for the track that I made. And yeah, so are there any questions, concerns, anything like that? I'm gonna mess with the terrain a little bit more. I swear it's like completely addicting to just make your terrain look exactly how you want it to, clean it up, smooth it out. Um, like I've been saying, that's what the polish phase is honestly all about. It's just about making sure that things are functioning and you know, repeating the steps that we've learned in the past to make things happen. So as I do this, are there any more questions or concerns? Anything you guys want to see me do right now? If I know how to do it, I will certainly try to help out with all that. So I'm just gonna be clicking, and yeah, anything at all? So I'm just gonna get this looking somewhat pretty. Let's go to paint some trees in this area if we can. Let's click on the tree, place some. I'm gonna lower the tree density even more to make sure that we're not gonna overload the game when we go to build it on Wednesday. Oh, we got some trees interfering with the road here. We definitely don't want that. Let's control Z a couple times, make sure that that is not gonna interfere. Okay, these will just interfere in general if I place them there. So I'm just gonna place some around the sides of the track. go over here, do a little bit here. Like I said, I'll probably do a lot of this polishing off camera just to make sure that I can build the game at my leisure and make sure that it's still functional. We may get some lag, who knows, kind of all luck of the draw at this point. So, yet again, are there any questions at all, any comments, concerns? I will be very excited to hopefully see some racers soon. Like I've been saying, I've seen a lot of really fantastic students do a lot of really fantastic racer courses. Just to review a few more things I mentioned in the past, it does really help to draw out your track in some sort of program or on paper before you go to make it, and maybe have like the normal track, the like default there for reference, so you know like what you're changing exactly. Sticking with your theme, like I've said a billion times at this point, making sure that everything is kind of cohesive and makes sense together and doesn't look particularly strange. If you want to make a tropical level and you want to place palm trees instead of these Joshua trees, go for it. Just make sure that it makes sense and that you have the assets you want. If you are interested in using custom assets from the asset store, that is 100% an option, but just note that sometimes downloading legacy software or assets or prefabs or anything like that can be kind of strange and kind of doesn't always work, but yeah. Oh, I can control click to remove trees. Yeah, I'm gonna remove a lot of the trees here. My brush was way too dense here. Let's control click, and then let's just normally click to place some more down. Yeah, so it's like I said a few streams ago, I think your game won't really lag a lot in the play mode, the game mode that you have in Unity, but it could potentially severely lag when you build the game. So we're just gonna really go light on these trees. Let's still go a little bit ham with them too. Make sure that they're all around. That we have a little forest in the mountains here. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. So that's really about what I wanted to accomplish in the stream. We moved the objects, we applied a skybox and then got rid of it because I like this skybox more. Placed some more terrain and trees to make it look a bit more like what I want it to. And then off camera, I'm just gonna dig through the assets and place maybe some houses around here if there are any like house prefabs there. Might place some rocks in the road to add a little bit of challenge to the game and again keep with the theme. And yeah, so if you guys don't have any questions, I think I'm about ready to end things off. So again, last call for any questions, comments, concerns. I'm here to answer whatever you guys might have. Okay, not seeing any questions or anything, so I think we're ready to wrap up. As usual, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support and your engagement with this little project. I think it's just a fun way to get introduced to Unity and make something unique, make something unique to you. Make this game look however you want it to. I think that's just the great part about it and about game design in general. You can tell your story. You can do whatever you really want to make a game look and represent you. I just think that's a wonderful thing about working with this medium. So thank you guys for watching. If you do have any concerns or anything, you can reach out to me at Jillian X Endless on the Endless Studios Discord. You can book a meeting with me on the platform if we want to just discuss something specific. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. And I will hopefully see you on Wednesday for our final little stream. So yeah, I will see you guys then.